Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5.
A shooting in the middle of the day has Lexington police searching for a killer.
Health officials say an Ebola flyer found in this Franklin County neighborhood is bogus.
It is almost here. Kentucky fans are gearing up for Big Blue Madness tonight. WKYT News at 5 starts now. Good afternoon to you. A man is dead tonight following a shooting in Lexington this morning. Police say it happened about 10:30 at an apartment complex on McCullough Drive in the Winburn neighborhood off of Russell Cave Road. WKYT's Victor Puente is tracking the investigation and has more from police in our top story at 5.
This shooting left a man dead. Now police say they need witnesses. They're going to solve this case.
Initially, we had a call of shots fired from what the caller thought was inside the apartment.
But when Lexington firefighters arrived, they found a man lying in a second-floor hallway. Coroner Gary Ginn says he died in that hallway, and his death was a homicide. This afternoon, they were still working to identify him.
He appears to be a fairly young person, but he does appear to be an adult person.
Lexington police say they aren't sure how many people may have been involved in his death, and until they know who he is, the case will be difficult to solve. A woman living one building over says she didn't hear the shots, but the scene outside of her apartment has her ready to move.
It scared me. I didn't know what was going on. I mean, it would scare anybody.
Police wouldn't say where on his body this man was shot. They did say he'd been shot multiple times. In Lexington, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Lexington police are asking anyone who was in that area at the time of that shooting to give them a call. Right now, doctors at special facilities are treating 2 Ebola patients while health officials monitor other cases to make sure the virus does not continue to spread. Greg Boswell has the latest from Bethesda, Maryland.
Doctors say Nina Pham, the first person to contract Ebola in the U.S., is resting comfortably at the National Institutes of Health.
She's interactive with the staff. She's eating.
But her condition went from good down to fair after her flight from Dallas.
This virus knocks you out.
She thanked her doctors at Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital before she left. Nurse Pham is inside this building, the NIH Clinical Research Center. It currently has the capacity for 1 more Ebola patient, and it's where researchers are working on an Ebola vaccine. The second nurse to contract Ebola is getting treatment at Emory University Hospital. Officials are investigating when Amber Vinson first started showing symptoms, as outreach continues to those who flew on the same plane and had contact with her in Ohio. And a lab supervisor who handled a specimen from Ebola patient Thomas Eric Duncan is quarantined on a cruise ship. She's shown no signs of infection, but is confined to her cabin until the ship docks in Texas. With growing criticism of the government response, President Obama named a new point person.
What we were looking for is not an Ebola expert, but rather an implementation expert.
Republicans who were asking for an Ebola czar say Ron Klain, who used to work for Vice President Joe Biden, does not have any public health experience. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Bethesda, Maryland.
The suspected patient aboard the cruise ship first came in contact with Thomas Eric Duncan's specimen 19 days ago. The incubation period for Ebola is 21 days. Health officials in Franklin County are calling it a prank. Tonight, they're investigating after someone found a flyer with bogus information about Ebola in a neighborhood. The flyer shows a logo from the Centers for Disease Control and contains false information about the virus. WKYT's Whitney Wetzel talked to officials about the investigation.
A flyer with misinformation about Ebola was found in this Franklin County neighborhood, but local health officials believe it's simply a bad prank. Officials say this bogus flyer was left outside of a home in the Meadowview area sometime Thursday. It shows a logo from the Centers for Disease Control on it and lists false information about the deadly Ebola virus. Health officials say information like the virus can be transmitted by air, and more than 20 cases have been confirmed in the U.S. are false. One line says CDC officials are allowed to enter any residence to control the spread of the the virus. Another line tells people to call 911 if they see a person with signs of Ebola, which it claims are sneezing or vomiting. Health officials stress that all of this information is false. Both state and local health and emergency management officials want people to know that no legitimate Ebola flyers are being passed out at this time.
As a public health agency, what we are trying to do is get out accurate information. We are trying to make sure that our community is not panicked, and having misinformation out there does nothing but stir the pot.
Health officials also encourage people to check out the CDC's website, cdc.gov, for accurate information about Ebola. In Franklin County, Whitney Wetzel, WKYT.
Police are trying to figure out who printed that flyer. They say if caught, that person could be charged with terroristic threatening. It was meant to attract customers, but an advertising tool was the cause of a fire in Lexington today. Fire crews responded to a fire at the Townley Park Apartments on Old Town Walk. They say an inflatable frog used for advertising caught fire on top of a garage.
And being right next to New Circle Road, the short amount of time that he was burning, there was a lot of people calling. So thankfully, it didn't turn out to be as much as the initial dispatch would have made it sound like.
Well, crews say the garage did not have serious damage and the fire did not spread to that complex. Well, it is just like a perfect fall day here in the Bluegrass with plenty of sunshine and warmer temperatures for us, but don't get used to it because changes are coming for some of our weekend. Meteorologist Jim Caldwell is tracking those changes for us. How about it, Jim?
I'll tell you what, it is super nice out there. Temperatures are running in the low and mid 70s area wide. It feels like springtime out there, getting that nice little breeze blowing around too, just in case you were outside for an extended period of time in the 70s. Maybe they were too warm for you. Well, you had a breeze to cool you off. There you see Defender. It's quiet. No showers, thunderstorms around us, at least today. We'll track a little more moisture into the area once we work into the day tomorrow. Cloud cover also starting to thicken up across parts of Illinois, into Indiana, and eventually a frontal boundary. We'll dive in here from that same general area, meaning we get in a more cloud cover. Nice kickoff for all the kids and, of course, all the families and folks heading out to high school football tonight. Around 65 degrees. That's with the sun down, of course, but we are talking about great kickoff weather. By the time we get into the second half, around 59 or so, not bad at all. We've had some much worse experiences here recently with showers, thunderstorms, and cool temperatures on football Friday night. Not bad at all. And for all you folks headed to Lexington, let me tell you what, it is a great place to be. Weather is perfect out there. I'll break down more details of the changes coming this weekend coming up in a few minutes.
All right, we'll see you then, Jim. Thank you. The countdown is nearing an end. Right now, we are just a couple hours away from the start of Big Blue Madness. WKYT's Jennifer Palumbo and our Rob Bromley, both of them live down at Wildcat Central getting ready for this big event. Always a huge night for the fans. They wait so long for it, guys.
Absolutely. This is the night that they've been waiting for. Hundreds of them camped out for tickets. They were gone in 30 minutes, and now tonight's the night. And it's a great crowd here at Wildcat Central getting ready for Big Blue Madness. The doors open at 5:30, Rob.
Yeah, fans all over the place here at Wildcat Central, and I'll tell you, those tickets are going for a ton online. I mean, they really are.
And there's scalpers standing outside that are selling them as well, so.
It's a big night for Kentucky basketball, big night for recruiting, of course. Always on a Friday here in mid-October, it is Big Blue Madness. And both teams, both the men's and the women's teams, will be introduced tonight. Everybody looks forward to the introductions, of course. Who will have the best dance? What will women's coach Matthew Mitchell come up with this year? Now, there are high expectations for both teams. Yesterday, John Calipari, with all the talent he has, spoke about how his team will have to hang together.
I'll tell you, I'll give you an example. We play a bad game or two and things are going a little south. Will they stay together like last year's team? Last year's team never wavered. They just knew they weren't ready. And they were good kids who had talent, and eventually they got it. And they made us all happy. Maybe not all of you, but most of you, they made you happy because of how they finished the year.
Well, we will get you started with a live 2-hour show before the madness. Jennifer, it is already underway. That is started on the CW Lexington Christy Thomas and Dave Baker are hosting that, so we are getting ready.
And we've just spotted there are a couple former Cats. They're right over there saying hi to the fans. Jared Polson, Eloy Vargas. This brings back players from years past, and it's a wonderful opportunity for them to stop by, too.
That's for sure, and it brings in fans from all over.
That's right. Our Jerica Insko caught up with some of the fans who are ready for a big night.
The day all of those people were camping out for last month has finally arrived. We are now just a couple of hours away from Big Blue Madness kicking off here at Rupp Arena. Right now, the food court is full of UK fans having a pre-Madness meal before they are allowed inside at 5:30. This is something many have done for years, but for a few first-timers, they aren't sure what to expect, but they are excited.
This is our first time to get to come. Our son usually comes and gets tickets, but this is our first year to get to come, so we're real excited.
We've never been to Madness. My son got them online, and they came 2 years ago. You got to go, so here we are.
Do you think it's crazy people camp out for tickets?
Sure, I think it's crazy, but I'm all for it.
And some of these fans have traveled from as far away as Atlanta, or what they call Catlanta, to be here tonight. At Rupp Arena, Jerica Insko, WKYT.
The SEC network now holds the rights for Madness, so for the first time in 20 years, you won't see it on WKYT, but you can watch it online on ESPN3, UKathletics.com, and there will be portions of it on ESPNU and the SEC network, which will have a recap at 11 o'clock. You can get all the information you need to know about where to watch it. If you don't have a ticket, just go to WKYT.com. But of course, we'll have highlights for you tonight coming up on WKYT News at 11. That's it from Wildcat Central. Amber, the crowd is growing. These fans are ready for Madness.
You know, you and I cover the Cats a lot, sometimes together. Are you feeling that energy and that excitement that just you start to get super excited with?
It is. It's wonderful. You see the children here with their faces painted, and everybody's wearing their UK gear. They're really so excited about this team and all the players that came back, and of course the preseason #1 ranking, which UK is kind of getting used to, but these fans are just so excited about this year's team, and they don't want to miss a minute of it.
All right, Jennifer, we will check back in with you a little bit later, but thanks so much, Jennifer, down there at Wildcat Central. Drivers headed south on Interstate 75 this morning probably had to deal with a few traffic headaches. Our county-by-county coverage begins in Rockcastle County. Kentucky State Police tell us all southbound lanes of the interstate were closed near mile marker 67 this morning after a tractor-trailer caught fire. We're told the tractor-trailer was hauling bulk plastic, which left a huge mess on the interstate. No injuries were reported. In Boyle County, the sheriff's office is seeing a rise in the use of synthetic marijuana. Deputies say in recent months they have made multiple arrests for the drug. Today, deputies arrested Jaharvis Napier at a traffic stop. They say they found packaged bags of the drug and digital scales in the car he was driving. Deputies say the substance, also known as Serenity, is being mixed with dangerous chemicals, which makes it very volatile and even deadly for the person consuming the drug. A Florida judge sentenced a man today to life in prison for the shooting of a 17-year-old at a gas station. The judge handed down the life sentence today to Michael Dunn after rejecting a motion by defense attorneys for a new trial. Earlier this month, a jury convicted Dunn of first-degree murder for killing Jordan Davis. A previous jury became deadlocked on that charge. The shooting happened in a Jacksonville gas station parking lot after a fight over loud music escalated. Dunn says he fired into the car Davis and 3 of his friends were sitting in because they had threatened him. More emotional moments in day 4 of the sentencing hearing for Oscar Pistorius. Today, lawyers presented their final arguments in the case. Court has been adjourned until Tuesday when the judge will hand down her sentence for the former Olympian. He could be ordered to pay a fine and go under house arrest, or he could go to prison for up to 15 years. The Navy Reserve has confirmed that they discharged Vice President Joe Biden's son, Hunter, earlier this year. U.S. officials say he tested positive for cocaine. Biden, a 44-year-old lawyer and investment firm managing partner, confirmed the report to CNN. He had been assigned as a public affairs officer in a Norfolk, Virginia-based reserve unit. Hunter is the younger of Biden's 2 sons.